Clement. You're in the loop on Radio Australia. And we are heading off to Shanghai, Clement, where it's the last week of World's Expo 2010 and where one of our favorite Pacific artists is celebrating achievements which have caught even himself by surprise.
Absolutely, and we are talking about Papua New Guinea artist Jeffry Feeger, who just a few days ago found himself making front page news at home because of what's happened at Expo. Now, some of you might remember we spoke to Jeffry on the opening week of Expo 6 months ago, and remember, Isabelle, things were about to start there. Jeffry was there and he was meant to be, doing a bit of setting up at the pavilion, but not everything had arrived at the Papua New Guinea pavilion, which left Jeff with a bit of time on his hands and set him on quite a journey there. Jeff's going to tell us now in his own words what happened. Jeffry, welcome again to Radio Australia's In the Loop program.
Hello.
Hi, Clement, and hi, Isabelle.
Great to have you on board. You probably got a bit homesick listening to Suru there on the radio.
Yeah, but it's good.
Fantastic. Now, look, before we talk about this huge thing which happened during the week, where you found yourself making headlines here, tell us what happened 6 months ago as you waited for stuff to arrive at the Papua New Guinea pavilion, and it was taking a bit of time. You kind of embarked on this very, very amazing adventure. Tell us about it.
I was quite interested in the idea of collaborating. And here at Expo, there was so much talent from all over the world. There was so many performers, and a lot of people are stage performers. And myself, I'm a painter, and I'm always in my studio. So I was thinking of how I could join these performers, how I could possibly collaborate with them. And it led me to the idea of actually joining them up on stage and just jamming with them, but creating artwork. Yeah, so that was the concept.
So jamming with colors.
Yeah, I guess so. I like to call it jazz, but with paint and canvas.
Fantastic. Look, it sounds amazing. Now, how many places did you end up doing this at or on?
Yeah, well, I began at the Angola Pavilion. That's where it all kick-started. And it was quite a hit. A lot of people really enjoyed that. And I just kept on approaching different countries' pavilions. And eventually, I ended up painting in Jamaica's pavilion, Colombia, Australia even, which was great. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, but Jeffrey, when you normally paint at home or where you are, in residence, like you were in New Zealand, do you paint in silence or do you have a soundscape? Do you use music sometimes?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Always with music, but I didn't really quite realize the importance of music until I was involved with this live collaboration. I think music is energy, and so it's become really a part of me now, and I really do acknowledge it a lot more.
Hey, let's listen to some of the music you performed on there was a clip on the internet of one of these events, and this is what it sounds like.
Now, Jeff, people can't quite see the pictures which we saw on the internet, but as that music is playing, there's such a vibrant, funky scene. People are singing, they're dancing. There's shots of you concentrating on your painting, but still having a good time. Tell us how it worked. You've got all these people around you. How did you manage to concentrate on those paintings, those portraits?
Okay, well, to put that music sort of more in context, it was in a nightclub with the artist Notorious B.I.G., which is a hip hop R&B funk, and that scene was with with a band doing covers of his music, and everyone just sort of feeling that vibe. And everywhere I go, it's different music. Like Jamaican Pavilion, we had reggae music. In the Colombian Pavilion was Spanish music. You know, Angola, and you had the Portuguese influence, African samba. You know, so there's this there's a different rhythm to everything, and that's what dictates sort of the flow of my work. And yeah, I use the rhythm to move and a lot. I guess you could explain it as my hands are dancing. That's the real part that's moving. Yeah, to the rhythm.
Right. So you just embrace the movement. In fact, it's that's what happens.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Jeff, though, that it just seems, and I'm not meaning to excessively flatter you or anything, but even then, you know, when I do work, sometimes I have to focus on something. But with you, it seems that you've got this in you. You know what you want to put out there on canvas, how you want to manipulate that paint. Even sometimes you use your fingers, and the music simply. What does it do? Does it just simply change the pace, or does it also affect the colors that maybe you use at the time?
Yeah, absolutely. I love portraiture, and in my normal work I do portraiture, and in these works I use picture references. So like I have pictures of people that I would like to paint, and I use black and white images so that I'm free to interpret the color as I feel through the music.
Yeah.
And those are all, there's no hesitation. It just all flows. And I believe that comes from hours of practicing what you do. Only then you're free to let loose. I think in the same way as a jazz player improvises, he mastered, you know, all the notes, the scales, and so then he feels, and then he just creates.
Tell us about the color schemes, for instance, of Jamaican music. What happens? You know, what are the colors that come to your canvas?
Well, I'm sure most of the viewers would know what the Rastafarian colors are, especially in Papua New Guinea, and that's what I naturally tended towards, using those colors. But there was also a lot more green in the picture. So we had green and a little bit of yellow and red. Yeah. And it was a portrait of a Rastafarian. Yeah, really enjoyed that piece. It was a really good vibe. Yeah.
Wow. I want to ask you how this has all changed you, but I still want to move on to the things that you've done still. You then, towards the end of this, I mean, you've actually returned back there to Shanghai at your own expense. How important was it that you were there for the wrap of this big event?
Well, being here in the beginning, I built relationships here and made many connections. And I also left a lot of my artwork here. So I really felt that I needed to come back. It was a real must. And I knew something was waiting for me here in Shanghai. And I really had to tie up all these loose ends. And it's like when you begin something, you always want to be there at the end. Yes. And that's what it was like for me. So I was prepared to do anything to make sure that I was back here for that scene.
So you'll go back home, you know, with all that that energy, that buoyancy. What are you going to do with it?
Okay, before you go there, because there is one big thing. Jeffrey mentioned there, something was waiting for me. Tell us about the big thing that caught you by surprise that you probably didn't even anticipate was waiting for you in Shanghai.
Well, I think Shanghai has a lot of surprises. It's a huge, you know, very modern city, and they're always throwing up new ideas all the time. And this great concept I heard about through a friend was an artist battle, where contemporary artists of all forms of art would be battling each other, and within 3 hours were to create an art form which the audience would select as the winner. And the event was staged in a huge warehouse, and it was packed, and there were 20 selected artists. And I heard about it just, the day before the event, and I was very doubtful that I would be included since they had selected artists a month prior. But as it turned out, by a twist of fate, one artist pulled out at the last minute, and I was included. Yeah, so I guess you could say that the PNG guy crashed the party, because I went on to win it, of course.
Yeah, wow. What did you paint?
The image, I worked very closely with a photographer from Angola, and one of the images was of an African, sort of indigenous-looking woman, and it was from Angola. And that image I think was a really powerful image. But I interpreted the colors in my own way, and the performance within 3 hours, it really pushed me. It was an incredible experience. It was exhilarating. And also performing alongside 20 different artists, from photography to graffiti art, performance art, body art, textile, the whole range.
And you came out on top?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now to Isabelle's question about just going home.
What are you going to do with all these strands of energy you've collected there, Jeffrey?
That's what I love about travel. It's inspiration, and that's exactly what happens. Is that you let this energy, you absorb it, and then you go home. And there's always something that you can do. And for me, this experience has really changed the way that I see the world and how I perceive my country, its place in the world, and also my strengths. And it has changed my technique, in a big way.
And you are heading to Angola. You've kind of forged some relationships there, and that's going to be kind of the next round of travel, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I think Angola has really adopted me while I've been here, and the government are willing to bring me to Angola and to host an exhibition with my works that I've created here at Expo. And so I'm really looking forward to that.
We're getting some comments from the listeners in Papua New Guinea, Jeffrey, and I think that one is from Pakis, and he says art in Papua New Guinea is not really recognized. Can Jeff help some of our local artists show their paintings?
And Jeff, just in addition to that, Brian has also written from Port Moresby saying, Izzy, I'd very much like to upload some of my pencil artwork to the internet, but I'm not tech savvy and I just don't know how to. I need help. It seems there's a lot of people expressing themselves at home, and they're kind of ready now, inspired by you. Jonathan Tolparia, another listener, has just written in saying, pass my best wishes to the man of the moment. They're all kind of ready. They it's really injecting confidence there, Jeffrey. There's just a bit of help needed, along the way.
Absolutely. We have so much talent, and I think, the world is ready to accept Papua New Guinea for what it is. And I just want to advise our artists to create from the heart and not to do it just as a job, but
Absolutely. Now, do you know where the next people now are asking you all sorts of questions here? Pascal has written in from Vanuatu, wondering where the next expo will be held. Jeffrey, any idea?
I think in the next 2 years, Korea.
Okay.
And then it's a smaller World Expo, and then a larger one in another 2 years.
Right.
From there.
Okay.
Yeah. Which would be, I think it would be staged in Europe.
Oh, okay. Hey, Jeffrey, we have held you for a long time. It's just been an absolute pleasure for all of us listening across the region, and Isabelle and myself. Many thanks for joining us.
And congratulations from us all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Safe traveling, and there's more from Jeffry to come, I'm sure. He's got a son in Moresby who's also joining him on a lot of his work. We'll leave that to another day, but many thanks for joining us, Jeffry.
Thank you, Isabelle and Clement.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.